My conspiracy.
I will plan a heist where I steal the Mona Lisa and bring it back to Italy.
Okay, Lupin, let's back it up here.
Hey, he didn't succeed. He didn't succeed.
You still need like a redhead with D cups, some guy who really knows how to shoot a gun, and a guy from feudal Japan. I think you only
I know. Hey, I'm Italian. I know people.
You know a guy from feudal Japan?
Let's just say I know people. I can't say, but I know people.
And I have the feeling those people help you to make offers that cannot be refused.
Maybe not.
Like I mean, how else? How else? Why else would we have you back on the show except for offers? Oh God, I'm running this so for the wall. It's not even funny.
It's not
Hello
even the main
and
show.
welcome everybody to the awkward cast where ANY and Keyframe wander about random drivel.
Wow,
I know, right?
Actually sick, and that was the most low energy.
I'm trying to not outshine you too much. I'm coming down to your level of energy.
What is it like that fucking meme where it's like how to talk to short people and it's the condescending down?
Has anyone ever done that? Like, has Max, when he's met you, just like got on his knees to talk directly to you?
No, I'm usually just using her head as an armrest.
Yeah. No, that was all the fucking Nightmare Nights back in like 2016. Yes. It was just all my friends who apparently, with the exception of our friend Emily, everyone's taller than me.
Yeah, and we all met many of us met for the first time, so it was like, whoa! This walking, talking armrest, that's awesome!
Yeah.
BFF!
Well, clearly I show Chrissy more respect when she's visiting.
No, it was just really funny to meet Max at the airport for the first time. So you finally get a reference of height, and because of the fucking nightmare that was picking him up at the airport, because I
have a model of Max right here.
Whoa, I've grown fat.
It's not, because of the fucking nightmare it was to pick Max up from the airport, because I didn't realize we went to 2 different airports. I just kind of went, like my head just went square into his chest of just exhaustion, of just, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And he's like, I just got out of customs.
There.
He was so confused because it's like, I didn't even know there was a struggle. I just got out of the airport. Basically. You are on time in my universe.
True story.
But yes, I'm sorry. It may be unprofessional for me to have this really dapper boy as my background.
True. I mean, I can't provide the real one, so I appreciate that you have him there. But I feel you intruding in my own territory. But anyways, while you fix that, it's not just us. We, of course, have also our guest, and while he has been with us so many times that I literally lost count, we might still want to have to introduce him to everybody new here. So, Chris, please, do remind us, who are you, what do you do, and why should people care?
I do reviews on YouTube. I talk about Blu-rays. And soon to be an author, writing the book, The Master Thief Files, which is a book about Lupin III and all the adaptations of it. So look for that later this year, most likely.
I guess that was crisp and to the point.
He knows his sales pitch now. He knows his elevator pitch.
He does.
He's doing a great job on the book, by the way. I've seen him write these things in calls. I've helped proofread quite a few of these chapters because, believe it or not, I'm actually good at reading.
Yes, you are.
No, it's very believable.
And
I'm good
obviously
at reading.
Our lovely Lauren is doing illustrations for the book as well. She did the book cover. She's doing illustrations within the book because we have interviews with some talent involved with the series, so she has drawn caricatures of those people and they look great.
Because
Nice.
Lauren's great. We all love Lauren.
We all
But
love
yes,
Lauren.
yes. Uh, but yeah, Chris. Dying. What have you been up to recently? You know, besides all this, like, have you been slaying
Besides,
dragons? Like, have
well,
you been, besides getting like
well,
a bunch of new releases and being in Burbank last week and stuff?
well, I mean, that I guess that's the only like eventful thing really is I was on vacation last week. Chrissy stopped by obviously because I was in Burbank, and we had a great time. We went to Disneyland, Universal Studios, Little Tokyo, you know, all that good fun stuff there, and was a magical time throughout. And there's
Tokyo.
her Ghostbusters Famicom game because when we went to Little Tokyo, she got that.
I still gotta measure this for the casing, but yeah,
You do.
there's us. Look at us all masked
The
and happy.
Yeah,
gang.
beautiful stuff.
Beautiful stuff. I had such a headache by the end of that day.
Yeah,
That's what
Universal.
I love Universal. Don't get me wrong. Don't
But I mean-
go there if you don't expect to have a headache afterwards.
But I mean, also the thing that we realized when we were there, not earlier this year, last year actually, Jesus. time.
November, yeah. I
Yeah,
know, time
that
flies.
if there is for some international medical reasons less traffic, Universal actually has only like 6 rides or so.
Yeah, it doesn't have. I mean, soon it's gonna have more because of I love that picture. Soon it's gonna
so
have
do
more
I.
because of Mario Land getting installed. But
Yep.
Yeah.
which we actually got to see a little bit when we were going down the giant escalators.
Yeah, they had the
You get to
little,
see some of the construction.
They had the,
The-
they had
the
the
hills.
construction to the left of the Transformers ride, and I love this picture because, as Chrissy will definitely attest, when we went to Springfield, which for me was like that's my immediate goal. I have
Let's-
to,
let- context. Chris has
Yeah.
never been to Universal Studios.
That's right.
before.
Yes, I have never been. Like I've been to Disneyland, but it was last week where I really like actually experienced Disneyland. Like that's a whole other thing. And
Rigmarole.
yeah, but really Universal Studios is the one I want to talk about because that was a whole new experience. And as a film aficionado, like Universal Studios is like heaven. Because like if you love movies, television, Universal Studios is like the perfect theme park for it. And I grew up watching The Simpsons, I think, like a lot of people. So I really wanted to go to Springfield. That was like my main thing is I could literally spend the whole day in Springfield and say, life well spent, like I only needed that. And so what happened was, Lauren, because she knows her way around Universal, she was basically like our tour guide. So she was like, when we got to go to Jurassic World first because that queue can get really big. So let's do that one first. And since we're down there, because Jurassic World and Transformers are the same level, you do all that, and then we move up to
The
Springfield.
first thing there, Springfield, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just for context, I'm 30. And when I'm in Springfield, I'm 7. Just running around, going like, oh! Like, the souvenir shop they have is obviously the Quickie Mart. That was my first stop. Like, I ran in, looked at everything. And everyone recoups because I think Will had lost his badge. He had to go get a new one, and Chrissy had to go to the bathroom. So everyone had to recoup at Springfield, and when we did, obviously we went to the Simpsons ride. So we did the Simpsons ride, which used to be the Back to the Future ride for some of you youngins. So it's a virtual cart ride essentially. And after you do that, the way it works is so the Quickie Mart would be here. The entrance to the Simpsons ride is to the left, inside the Krusty Land. And so when you exit, you make a U-turn, so that when you exit, the first thing you see ahead is the Quickie Mart. So between the time of everyone recouping, going to the ride, and then leaving the ride, the Homer mascot decided to show up in front of the Quickie Mart to be taken, like doing,
Chris's face
and-
lit up like
Yep.
fireworks. It would be like if a little
Literally.
kid saw Goofy or something. It was
pretty
insane.
much. And when it happened, sparing no embarrassment, I just went, "Oh Homer, and just start running toward him. And I can hear behind me them all laughing at like how ridiculous it is that a 30-year-old man is childishly excited to meet Homer Simpson. So of course,
It wasn't at the ridiculousness. It was just at this really rare moment of seeing you be the child of the group. It was more of a laughter as, we're not so different, you and I. So,
And Homer just sees you running towards him. He's like, "Don't!"
I did not care how I looked. I was having a great time, and and Lauren joined in the photo. It's a lovely photo. Probably one of my favorite photos taken.
I think I don't have my phone near me, but my photo of him
I believe I
was
found Chris.
me and Homer. Me and Homer were
not
like
Chris,
having a punch off, so it was me and his fist like punching each other, and he started shaking his fist, and so did I. It was a beautiful moment. I love the mascots. I love the mascots at Universal. I mean, my favorite was Optimus.
I honestly like them more than Disney's.
Optimus didn't stop complimenting me. I didn't talk about this last week, but the thing was...
talk about it.
So, we took pictures with Optimus. The thing about Optimus and Megatron, which we didn't see, and Bumblebee, is that they have speakers, they talk, and they actually have someone behind a mic talking to you, kind of thing. And with Optimus, you're supposed to do a battle stance. And I did that fucking stance that I can do where I squat really low and go like this. And he was like, whoa. No, he was impressed.
That's a great battle stance.
Yeah, but the thing is... said since Will lost his pass, his fucking fast pass, we had to keep walking to and from the Transformers ride for him to get it. And Optimus was there the whole time, and he just kept being like, there's those guys again. Hey guys, way to go, superstar. And it was just
pretty much, yeah.
You're
the ones with the great battle stance.
Yeah, I'm like, this guy is so nice to not be wondering why these same four schmucks are just like
going back and forth.
But fun
ridiculous.
Fun fact. The guy who played Optimus at Universal for like a really long time is the voice of Glamrock Freddy in the new Five Nights at Freddy's
Kellen Goff.
games, which is why everyone thinks he sounds like Optimus Prime. So it's just really funny. It's just... I wish I could have met him when he was still playing Optimus. That would have been fucking funny. But yeah, it was a great time. And Chris was a child, and I
was having a great... Universal Studios, easily the most fun I was having, especially the studio tour, because sat next to Lauren, and both of us are just like geeking out about trivial like film TV shit, like, oh, that's Alfred Hitchcock's office, and just pointing out things and getting giddy and all that stuff.
My thing was pointing out to Tia, oh yeah, we're not going on this part. This part usually happens because everyone was filming on the day that we got there.
Lauren explained the same thing, and I remember, because obviously it's my first time experiencing, and it was surreal to be like, oh yeah, they do still use studio lots, because I'm used to the idea that they film on location these days. But no, they still use studio lots, and obviously they were filming a lot of shows at the time. They were filming like Ted Danson's new show and the Bel Air, the Fresh Prince reboot, and
Keenan's new, which hardest working guy in Hollywood, because he has to film his show and then every weekend fly back to New York for SNL.
But I remember
he could quit SNL at any time. He chooses this.
We're driving, like the studio tour is driving us down to like one of the main, like the studio lot that is for like town exteriors, and from a distance I see a town hall, and I go, is that the town hall from Back to the Future? And when you're in the studio tour like bus, they have these TV screens where they're like, these exteriors are used in these famous, and they talk. And it's after I make that claim, they're like, this area was filmed in the 19 yada yada Back to the Future. Like, it is the town hall for Back to the Future. I would know that from a mile away. Which
I think if I remember correctly, they actually used the town hall for Back to the Future in the Good Place, because the Good Place, yes, because
the Good Place was filmed using the same sets.
I know, because that was the thing of, because we started watching The Good Place right after we went to Universal in November. So going there now and seeing The Good Place set in real life, it's like, damn it, we should have started watching this before.
And
This would have been cool.
because what it also does is it has like these 360 like 3D shows. So at one point you'll pause and then King Kong will attack the bus, or at another point it'll be Fast and the Furious. And the funniest thing was after the Fast and the Furious one, which is so ridiculous, it's great. After it was said and done, Lauren whispers in my ear, "Man, I love Grand Theft Auto."
I have someone who's been on the studio tour so many times because it's like the perfect. We've been on rides back to back. I need my brain to not have a concussion. Let's go on this. It's just it's so fucking funny to watch the Fast and the Furious thing. It's so dumb. I mean, it's fun, but it's dumb.
Yeah. I haven't
why
seen
it's
any
great.
of the more recent installments, so I'm not even sure if the movies have grown as ridiculous as this Universal experience, because that's so over the top. But it's
We
Well,
saw
you've
beautiful.
seen Hobbs and Shaw, haven't you?
I have seen
Yeah.
Hobbs and Shaw, but in
You can't
that,
Basically the
say
same
that.
thing.
You can't wonder how ridiculous the Fast and the Furious franchise got when you have Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson holding down
the cars, the car chain.
the cars with his bare hands while a bunch of people are hitting nitro things.
And
at
I
the
love
same
that because you, as an audience member, will accept the idea that Dwayne is just that strong, that he can. You know it's absolutely fiction, but you accept it.
Have you seen the video of him on Twitter lately where he just has steam coming off his fucking head?
Yeah, I have seen that video.
That's his fucking secret self-tape to be in the live-action Hercules as Hades. Like, fucking, this man is not a man. He's a
He's a god.
demigod. He's a demigod who fell from Olympus, but he conked his head on the way down, so he doesn't remember.
Sounds about right.
At least he came and said, "You're welcome."
He's Maui. He really just is Maui.
Yeah.
But besides that, Chris, because anything else happen as of recent?
Well, I mean, that's most of it. The only other eventful thing is because obviously I went right back to work on the book, and during that vacation, I got a big score for an interview because the hardest thing to do has been getting Japanese talent since it's a Japanese franchise.
Makes
I didn't
sense.
want it to just be a whitewash book because you're going to get those people. Why didn't you interview so and so and such? I tried, and it's very difficult to get Japanese talent because obviously there's a language barrier. I have a translator who helps with that, but also it's just, there's a lot of like rules and stipulations in Japan when it comes to people participating. But through a lot of emails, I finally got one person, which was screenwriter Shoji Yonemura. So I've written his questions. My translator's working on them to make them, legible.
For the normies watching, what things would they know him for? You can't
they wrote.
You can't just say
I was
it.
getting to that. I was getting to that, and you interrupted me. But yes, Shoji Yonemura is a screenwriter. The most prolific thing he's done is he works in tokusatsu, so things like Super Sentai, or as you Americans probably know it as Power Rangers, or Kamen Rider. And for Lupin, he wrote 3 scripts, one of which he wrote alone, 2 of which he co-wrote. He wrote solo Episode 0, The First Contact, which many Lupin fans will agree is one of the greatest specials they ever made. And the 2 he co-wrote were Island of Assassins and The Pursuit of Haruma's Treasure, which are also very good. But he obviously doesn't have sole credit to those. He co-wrote Pursuit with Hiroshi Kashiwabara, who I'm also trying to get an interview with, and I do not remember who wrote Island of Assassins with him. But
which Kamen Rider series?
Oh, geez, I do not know off the top of my head.
Well, 0 out of 10, worst book ever, would not read.
But yeah, that's really cool. So
It is.
while you look up that, Max, did anything good happen in your week? Well, I mean, eventful, I guess, besides the fact that Himbo tried to take down your entire books.
Oh, that was great. But I believe I talked already. This was even before last week, wasn't it? That I redid my entire
Yes, you did talk. You talked about that.
shelf. So yeah, besides that, with basically hiding inside, not even leaving anymore for the office, because having a US trip planned in February, and don't want to get the COVIDs before it, so that I'm not allowed on the on the airplane. Yeah, now it's basically hiding inside even more than before.
You have the fun thing of you have a US trip, then a week, and then an Italy trip right after. So you gotta stay just in a fucking bubble.
Yeah.
Whoa.
As much as you can be in a bubble while being stuck in a transatlantic airplane. But
Yes.
in there
get
still.
Get the mask with the fucking plastic shields over.
Yeah, or basically just going full.
Just go in a hazmat suit.
Exactly. or no, having this full suit, like with the gas mask and everything, like not just hazmat. So I'm thinking more the ones Hellboy style.
Oh, like with the two like respirators on the side.
Something like this, yeah.
Oh god.
There we go.
I mean,
I have the accent to
whatever.
wear this outfit, so.
Yes, you do.
Then again, it's a flight
okay.
from Frankfurt to Denver, so the majority of the flight will be full with Germans. So there goes my special feature.
I mean, I'm sure no one's gonna look at you weirdly when you fly from Berlin to Palmero in that it's like, oh, a German person coming into Italy dressed like this. This isn't worrisome at all.
Not
No,
again.
No, it's even worse because you're going down to Sicily, which is widely known as one of the most invaded places in the world. I mean, that kind of goes into my week. Hi, guys. This is Chrissy's week now. Because part of my week was just researching Sicily and looking up things. If you're in Max's server, you got an earful of it text-wise earlier this week because I fucking excited because I decided instead of going to Rome and then flying down, we're just going straight to Sicily. Fuck inland Italy. That's not where I'm from. Going straight to the island. And it's such a fascinating place because Lord knows it got fucked by every country and continent. Just like, because Sicily is like the one place that I could say that you'll see like scripts from the Quran on the ceiling of a Catholic church. Like, because it got invaded by the Dutch, so there's like Dutch Normandy stuff there.
That is really embarrassing.
The Byzantines, which for most people that's Turkey, like because it's where Constantinople, aka like Istanbul, is. North Africa, Istanbul, North Africa, Greece, and like just all these different things. So you'll see like a mix of like Islamic architecture with like French architecture and Grecian stuff. And the thing about Sicily is that they never erase the previous people who were conquering. In that, like, because there's a lot of manifest destiny things that we know of where they'll just try to eradicate everything that came before it and build on top. No, they just kind of built around and adapted to it. So you'll just see things interact, like the Afro-European stuff just interact with each other. And I mean, it even goes down to the food because you'll see like Italian food mixed with Grecian food mixed with Turkish food. It's such a unique place, and I can't wait to go. And I'm gonna eat so much, and I'm gonna gain like 15 pounds, and it'll be worth it. Except except I'm gonna have to print out little cards that says I'm allergic to shellfish because it's an island. They like seafood, and I don't feel like I don't feel like making Max carry an EpiPen the entire trip. Thank you very much. Does that look like a shellfish to you? I don't know. Do we want to gamble? Happy birthday. But besides that, what happened in my actual week was my stream audience are fucking generous assholes. Let me explain. So, if people are wondering why my Twitter profile looks like garbage right now, you could thank you could thank my lovely donators on my YouTube channel. So I was playing the Ghostbusters video game. Great game, super fun game.
Yep.
And I have my tip jar, all that stuff, usual streamer stuff. And I said, oh, if I
He's having it on display.
Ooh, number 1 Egan Spangler Sim. Ooh, XOXO.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what was because it was tiers. It was like, if I reach this much, I'll change my Twitter bio. If I change this much, change my banner.
It was like at 150 you had to change your profile, I think. Then 175 you had to change your banner. Then 200 you had to change your like actual description, and it kept going and going and going up until the point where, well, that thing.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Then there's the whole thing that I have to I had to make my pinned tweet a fucking fan cam I found on TikTok. Yep. I didn't make it. That's the big thing, is that everyone's like, did you make this? It's like, no, my TikTok name is not Piper Obsessed for the first part. There are a plethora of Egon fan cam TikToks on TikTok.
And they're all in her likes.
They are not all in my likes. But no, the final thing, which was when we reached like nearly $500, was like, I will get an Egon cardboard cutout standee. Cool. But that's where the plot thickens. Because if people remember last week, Wolf had said, oh, Key, I got a package for you that's going to be there in a couple of days. He didn't tell me what the package was going to be. All I knew was the tracking number and that it was apparently 5 pounds. Concern. But yes, when I opened it, I was texting Max like little videos of it, of slowly opening it, and I think in like the second or third video, I was
in the second one I was like, oh, I know what this is, without knowing what it is.
But I think in the second or third video, I was like, no, he didn't get this. Oh no, oh no, and it's this.
Yep.
On
the plus side, she doesn't need to buy one. On the negative side, now she has one, and it's there.
I'll assure you guys, it's life-size. Like,
he's just standing there, menacingly.
Hello, everyone in Awkward. It's Dr. Egon Spengler.
I hate it. But let me assure you, it is life-size. Because, keep in mind, I'm 5'6", so if I stand in front of it, you can still clearly see the head. This thing is 6'2". What am I gonna do with a 6-foot-tall fucking cardboard cutout?
Obviously.
What you're doing right now.
Yeah, having in the background of streaming. She can't hear us, can she?
Exactly. No.
I just live with it now.
Yeah, I mean, the good news is you're going to have your office, and if you also have your streaming space in your office, I mean, other people work long and hard to have a mediocre streaming background. Chris has his DVD shelf for his videos, and you then have Egan, just Egan.
Egon.
I put nothing in my background. It's just this.
Yeah, just him standing there. And he always moves. In every screen, he stands slightly different. Then there's one where he's just leaning in from the side. There's one where he's not visible until the viewers look really, really closely, and then they see the reflection of him in the poster behind you, and he's standing right in front of you and staring over your screen at you during the stream.
I mean, let me just say, it is amazing to have like that fucking garbage Twitter bio, and then right under it says artist for DA games. So it's like,
And I
but
I am a
assume,
professional.
yeah,
Ooh, woo,
and
Egon. Oh.
and I assume that at least a third of whatever you made at this stream actually was sponsored by members of DA Games. So yeah, they did this to themselves.
yeah, it's just the thing of like, I mean,
She
I would
really
argue,
wanted to go to Italy.
I would argue this is not the worst here. I mean, the fact that I have to keep all that shit on my Twitter for a month is one of the worst parts, because that uh, throughout the month of love, I have the one thing I love more than anything,
Oh,
a nerdy Jewish guy. But like,
also, hi Odie. He look, guys. Odie said also hi to all of us in the chat.
yes,
Yes.
he said hi to all of us. But like,
Hi,
no,
why? Hi, Chris. Hi, Egon. Hi, Egon Simp.
and let me just say though, it was very interesting for people just suggesting new things to add to these tip goals. Like, I think it was Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi wants me to make a tip goal that if I get it, I have to have a candlelit dinner with this thing
Ooh, that would have been
Just don't get the
amazing.
candle too close to him.
and stream it, which is just kind of like, okay, what? That seems like a waste of food.
No, I
Like,
mean you still have the dinner. I mean, obviously you don't load food on his plate because yeah, that would be waste of food. But no, you have the candlelit dinner by having the candle, him on the other side, and you eating
just-
and having
I
conversations
just
with
have
him.
I just have a wrapped package of Twinkies on his plate so that it's not even eaten.
Yeah, yeah.
But like,
And
but
we
like-
know he loves his Twinkies.
but I do know that also fucking thanks to my stream audience, I have to make an Egon cosplay now.
I was about to say, don't you usually do something for those streams where you collect money? Don't you usually offer your hair as something
That's
to
for
be
charity.
altered? So yeah,
That's
but I mean, isn't
This one's
it's
cosplay.
it's the Chrissy Travel to Italy charity.
Yeah, I mean, it is called the Italy Fund.
See,
Just to say.
so it's a form of charity, and then you could have offered
Right.
to get Egan Spangler hair. Oh, what's happening here? Whoop, stuff is happening. Let me stop sharing the. Ah, for fuck's sake!
Oh,
It's
oopsies.
happening again.
Also,
It's happening again. Lovely.
what? Who died?
Discord for me for a second. Didn't we
Also-
have this?
also,
When
I
did we
think-
have this last
also,
time?
I think Golden Fox's Discord.
Yeah, you got it too.
Yeah.
I just
I just got a
responded with,
message from
nice
him.
try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, first his YouTube, now his Discord.
Yeah, this is okay. I'm in way too many group chats with him.
Oh yeah, he's writing in all the group chats now as well.
Yeah, and Saber just said
Whoopsie.
Fox's Discord was hacked.
Yep, we noticed. Happening live on AWKWARDCast. Watch your friends get hacked.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh no, he keeps posting. I still have more chats with him. Anyways,
Saber just messaged me about it because he's a good boy.
yeah.
But also it's very.
But yeah, to wrap up your week,
Yeah, no. The thing is that my. The thing was one of the goals is cosplay, and then they were like, "Hey, why don't you bring the cosplay to Italy?" And I just was like, "How the fuck am I going to bring a proton pack to Italy?" That's my main question.
how do you get
And-
a proton pack in the first place?
Yeah,
Well,
it's
there's
just
plenty of places that sell them.
Oh my.
well, yes. I mean, we also did find out during the stream that when like a fucking Ecto One prop got brought to Italy for a tour to promote Afterlife, someone stole it. So there's just a stolen Ecto One somewhere in Italy,
Oh my.
which is great. What is there a ferret?
There is a ferret. Come on,
Which one is that?
come on the Pride Rock. Ta-da! Yay!
I
Is
have
that
now
him, Bill?
temporarily kicked Golden from my server just for extra precautions. He may come back when it's fixed.
Brutal but fair.
Yeah. Oh, look at that good boy.
Yeah, he was a good boy.
Lovely little snake dog.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
he
yeah.
did tell. Max did say earlier this week, because I was saying how Himbo is like a good little boy, and he's like, I don't believe that.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
believe he
convinced.
has he has an evil plotting energy about him.
Yeah.
And it's just, but no, all he does is just stand in place and stare off into space. He's dumb.
Do I need to play the video of him with the books again?
He was being a curious little boy.
He was, I mean, I only started recording a while in, but he kept systematically throwing books out of the shelf.
Because he can't read, Max. He was mad that he can't read.
Yeah.
No one taught him how to read.
And his evil alter ego came through. I mean, you know those characters. They are legitimately good-hearted and a little bit naive and dumb, but then sometimes something triggers that the alternative personality comes in, and it's this very evil, violent person.
Are you saying that, like, your ferret has, like, a Dr. Insano alter ego thing going on there?
Funny enough, the example that came to my mind was Elvenlied, but there must be other more family-friendly versions.
Yeah, but just...
Probably.
But yeah, long story short, I have to be stuck as Keegan Spangler on Twitter for a month, and you may see a photo shoot in Italy of Max looking very, very embarrassed around a very short Egon Spangler in the next coming months. I mean, if I could kill Max, he could be the ghost in the photo shoot. Ha-ha! But yeah, that was my week, so... I need my water.
Fair point. And with that, who wants to go first on the media? I guess Keyframe earned herself a little bit of a break. Chris, do you want
to not talk?
Sure, do you have the image?
I have more than just an image, I do tell you. Let's see if we get copyrighted. Here we go. Tell us about this very, very pleasant looking cartoon.
Yeah, I mean, there hasn't really been any other media I've been watching except for Smiling Friends, because it came out fairly recently, the whole show, and I've been rewatching it many times because it's very easy to like just sit down and binge a bunch of episodes, because there's only 8 of them and each one's only 11 minutes, and it's definitely become one of my new favorite shows. It's absolutely hysterical. For those who somehow don't know, Smiling Friends is the new Adult Swim show, co-created by, as we know him, Psychic Pebbles, or Zach Hadel, I think. Hadel, I forget how his last name is pronounced. And it's absolutely hilarious. If you love that kind of comedy, which honestly I didn't for a long time, but something about Smiling Friends worked for me, so it's hilarious. I mean, I know Key knows because we've been laughing about it. Will and I have been laughing about it. Even Lauren and I have laughed about it. It's just funny.
It's very okay. I could probably give a better spectrum of who won't like it.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
If you were not a fan of like when the Newgrounds era of animation really came in, so like the Oni and G's and like early Ego Raptor kind of stuff was around, because it's a lot of like, you know, there's a pause and then scream kind of thing, very absurdist kind of stuff.
Yep.
I could see how this is divisive, because that era of comedy on YouTube and internet in general is divisive in and of itself, because there's a lot of people who just straight up was like, I don't get how this is funny. So this is not a palatable show for everyone. I find it hilarious, but I think my brain is just melted enough that I find it hilarious. Because I unabashedly like a lot of, because I think this is at least toned down enough that more people would like it than if it was like a YouTube show. Because, you know, it's made for TV.
Yeah.
Because Lord knows, I'm not above this show. I laugh at it a lot. One of my favorite fucking jokes is that there's this little shrimp character that says, "How do I look, yellow man?"
How
And
do I
he's
look,
like,
yellow man?
and he looks like like one of the guys from Columbine, like, you know, the
Mm.
metal shirt with the long leather
Honestly,
jacket.
dude, you look like you're about to tell your friend not to come to school tomorrow.
It's a terrible joke, but that's one of the funniest fucking things in my life
It's
that
great.
I've ever seen.
You have
But
Gilbert Gottfried playing God. Do I
Gilbert
need to say
Gottfried,
anymore?
Gilbert
Literally
God,
Gilbert Gottfried in this show. And
it's
right
it's a
now, my
fat,
favorite episode
yeah.
is episode 2. Mr. Frog is my
Oh,
favorite episode.
and they,
Because behind me, you'll see there's a cycle, and I've been cycling a lot lately.
Mm.
And to pass the time while cycling, I'll take my phone and I'll put on the Mr. Frog episode just so I have something to do while I'm cycling. Just the fun,
what's
because all it is because the character Mr. Frog, if you can find him on Google, it's very easy. But he's basically like this super
psychotic.
celebrity. Well, yeah, he's a psychopath, but he's just got like this show that ran for like 40 something seasons, and every episode is the same, where he just runs in. He's like, "Hello, I'm Mr. Frog. This is my show. I eat the bug." He just eats a bug. I eat the bug. This is the end. I love you. And that's it.
He looks a little bit psychopath. That's true.
He is, and his whole shtick is that he has a verbal tick where he just always says, "Hello, come in, hello."
The other thing about that fucking character that's terrifying is,
Yeah,
you know, mixed with the fact that he's a psychopath, his walk
yeah.
cycle and run cycle is just 2 frames.
It's just 2 frames, and it's just.
Which shows
the
Chris's
fucking
level of humor.
well, the thing that just absolutely kills me every time I've rewatched the episode is there's a joke where his controversy has gotten to a point where the only platform that will let him on is the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and Hans Van Harken, an old like Newgrounds animator, plays a rotoscoped Jimmy Fallon, and it's one of the funniest things because they get every aspect of Jimmy Fallon accurate to just like, you know, the way he talks and just how much he slams the desk. Like every other word he slams his desk. So what was the whole ordeal like working on your show?
It's not a
Kills
malicious
me
impression
every
at
time.
all.
No, it's not.
true.
It's not mean. It's just accurate. It's clearly people who have watched Jimmy Fallon enough to understand and pick up on some of his mannerisms and, you know, his quirks. Again, like banging the desk, which is a thing Jimmy Fallon does a lot. There it is. The Jimmy Fallon
Yup.
absolutely gets me, sends me every time.
Like I said, this show isn't for everyone. If you are Chris's humor or your brain is melted enough like mine, you'll like this. I mean, here's the thing. It's an Adult Swim show, and if it's not Rick and Morty,
You kind of know what you're getting into.
you know what you're getting into with Adult Swim. So it's either you like it or you don't.
Like,
But
it's not Rick and Morty. Think more Aqua Teeny, C-Labby, just like that
stoner
absurdist.
comedy, yeah, stoner comedy kind. But
To some
no,
extent, yeah.
to some extent, like the only thing that I find really fascinating about the show is just how many internet people voice in the show, where you're just kind of like, because
there's like almost
either,
no SAG actors.
which is the thing of like, if the show is non-union and they like just signed on some SAG people, because you can do that, or if the show is union and they just tafted everyone in, which is really fascinating with the whole rigmarole of the has-been actors not coming back because a lot of them are in SAG. And
I have my opinions on that, but yeah.
because it's just a thing of like, you cannot tell me that the Burger King foot lettuce meme guy is in SAG, and I won't believe you. Like,
I love it. They got chills for one line where he's just ordering and he just goes, "Can I get the number 15?"
yeah, you get like, because like he's in there, Harry Partridge is in there, Oni and G's in there, fucking
Lyle Rath, Hans Van Harken.
Erica Erica Lindbeck, Luna in Helva, which is like one of the few SAG people because I know that Helva.
Well, because I think she had like a bit of an internet presence before. Like she seems to
Yes.
know a lot of internet people. Like I think she's friends with Caleb Hiles.
It's a fascinating show. It's what happens when Newgrounds animators get the reins. So watch it if you like that stuff. That's the biggest thing, is that if you know that you like this stuff, you'll like it. It's not for everyone. It's not everyone's flavor.
But it's certainly my flavor, and I've watched it multiple times.
Yeah. But Max, why don't you?
Yeah, I was about to say, since our goal was to give you a little bit of a break from talking.
So it was the thing of that I forgot that his media was Smiling Friends, which is actually something I've watched.
Yes, let's see if how much I can stretch out mine to give you a break. Just as a small update, what is not my media, and I don't have too much to add, is that I recently finished Inside Job, and I absolutely loved it. It's like it speaks to me on a disturbing level, given who the protagonist is.
I love Reagan.
Reagan
and
is
I
great.
love her dad. I love her dad. I love Christian Slater so
much. I love her hate for him. But yeah, no, Inside Job great, but we had it talked about on this show before, and I believe, wasn't it even you who presented it? Yeah. I don't think that I can add anything meaningful after that, except like great fun, watched it, loved it. But for once, unironically, I have something that's actually top current, which usually doesn't happen to me. So and yet I'm not sure how much I have to say. So people might have heard about this nice little show that came to Amazon this week with the first 3 episodes. So it's also a current show and ongoing, and it's The Legend of Vox Machina. So for everybody who stayed clear of Critical Role to this point because they don't have any interest in watching 6 people on webcam live improv a D&D session, now you have it as a cartoon that can wrap you into the madness.
Is it scripted, or is it kind of like the Ricky Gervais show where they took moments from the actual
No. It's an actual very well produced cartoon show. I mean, they had this Kickstarter of a few 100,000 to produce a series that cracked the 1 million within the first 24 hours. So they had a little bit of extra budget to spend. So they went all out, and I just now realized that it's a German trailer I accidentally picked. But yeah, besides that,
maybe it'll make Content ID less.
Totally. But yeah, point being, so they took. I mean, here's a fun thing. I know Critical Role mostly from the second campaign. I never really. I mean, I had a hard enough time keeping up with the second campaign, which I gave up halfway through, and eventually just watched the end together with Denim after she moved in, because she is obsessed fan to the point where she was a backer for this show, and we got to watch the first 2 episodes before the official Amazon premiere, and it's happening again. Mother, why indeed? This is getting very, very annoying and frustrating.
Okay, question: are you typing something?
No.
Is it just?
It's like, I don't know. I had this in a different stream before as well. It's getting very frustrating, admittedly.
I had a similar thing happen for like a week and a half where I couldn't send emojis without Discord crashing.
That's right.
No, but I actually was not doing anything.
I know. I'm just saying that Discord's been weirdly unstable.
And it's not helping that Discord then keeps reopening in the other screen for some reason. Thanks for making an already annoying and inconvenient thing even worse. But yeah, so myself, familiar with Critical Role, but not with Vox Machina, the group of heroes from the first campaign. However, I have through what do you call it when you pick up knowledge due to just general
osmosis.
Thank you. Thanks through internet osmosis, I am at a point where I can recognize the majority of the characters when I see images. I have a certain idea what their characters and whatnot are. But I am mostly blind about it. However, I am living with a complete Critical Role fangirl. So she was or is
That
very...
helps.
Yeah, it is. It's very familiar with it, and basically, so I can be like, turn around like,
Fill in
did
the
this...
blanks.
Exactly. Did this happen? And apparently by the third episode, it picked up an arc that happened in the actual streamed first campaign of Critical Role. So to come back to your question, no, it's not improvised or anything. They took the actual events and turned them into episode-sized, fully scripted episodes of a series. They voice act, obviously, at least the players voice act their own characters. Matt Mercer still gets to voice act a little bit here and there, but many characters got handed over, especially female characters and whatnot, get handed over to actual female voice actors. So we don't have Matt doing female voices for a disturbing amount of people, which is fine in a roleplay session. But no, but they actually got a lot of prominent voices, so it was an ongoing like, oh, I know this, that's David Tennant, stuff like that. So they put those millions and millions of dollars they got from the Kickstarters to good use. Something that on a very personal note spoke to me, that they got a character designer that works a lot for DC, specifically Young Justice, on board, because I looked at it and I thought, it looks like Young Justice. I mean, especially Percy here. He has Robin face and hair for anybody who looked Young Justice, or Nightwing. Just white hair instead of dark hair.
They also work on Voltron because
Might be, yes. I believe so.
Foreground. The guy in the foreground kind of looks like
yeah, but it's
who's the guy with the white hair that turned out to be gay? Keith?
Yes, could be that this. But yeah, the guy who was baited as a protagonist and then he got completely sidelined. When the princess took over his robot. I don't feel bad about spoiling it because Voltron ends so shit. It's anyways. That's not, I ranted about this probably for episodes worth on this show. But yeah, this show, so super high production value. So it's absolutely smoothly looking. It has great action. It has the charm and characters from Critical Role. So if you don't like Critical Role, that might be your first red flag. It's apparently an unlicensed D&D story. So D&D specific or general specific terminology that's copyright protected, they cannot use anymore. So they needed to come up with alternative terms for it. But yeah, for me, interesting experience. I'm having a hard time as somebody who did not know Critical Role but due to osmosis kind of got a lot of ideas and knowledge to watch it completely neutral. So for somebody in between, it's a little bit weird experience, and it is.
What would you say the barrier of entry is? Like for someone who's just has besides knowing the name Critical Role and knowing the name Matt Mercer and more.
Yes. That's a weird thing. I literally cannot tell because I still do know too much to go completely neutral in and be like, okay, if this would be the first impression of this group of characters, would it work for me or not? Because yeah, I'm also getting a lot of asked for, but still a lot of explanatory whispers from the side while watching it.
Okay, let's put the whispers aside. When you're watching the show, do they explain enough? Do they set up the world well enough that someone could just go in and be like, outside of this being based off a D&D campaign, this is a well-established world?
I would say so.
Or is this made purely for fans?
That's the point that I'm trying to make, that I'm having a hard time to exactly judge this point. I think it should work. I have the feeling it should work because, it's needed for somebody who is already familiar with fantasy. Obviously, if you have to overcome your suspension of disbelief, no chance. Just saying, no chance. But it is cliche enough, trope heavy enough of a fantasy world to be like, okay, that's a tavern with full of orcs. Okay, here's a king and his councilman. So if you don't get too much lore dumped, which probably helps. What is probably the biggest barrier of entry is that you have this main cast of 7 characters that basically all get introduced. Bam. You get introduced to them, and Vox Machina as an adventuring group has already been established. You meet them, and the first thing you meet them is them being drunk and starting a bar brawl, a pub brawl, whatever, and so you get a idea of their group energy. You get tidbits of the individual characters, but you don't get to know. You have to get to know them over time. You get dumped all these characters in front of you and are like, okay, deal with it. But having now seen the 3rd episode in Amazon the other day, they seem to now go in and flesh out the characters one by one, as we would be used to it from other shows as well, that you know backstory and motivation and so on, not from the beginning but over time, and they start now drip feeding that too. So yeah, I guess overall, after, especially with the 3rd episode, I would say, yeah, it should be a very fun, action-heavy, well-done fantasy show that even non-fans can enjoy. If not, tell me, because I can't tell objectively myself.
That's great. That's great. Now, how's the story of Boba Fett going?
I was very tempted to talk about it. I mean, in good news, this week's episode of Book of Boba Fett was by far the most exciting and best one yet. It didn't feature Boba Fett, though. It was a complete side story. Fuck it. Spoilers. It was completely focusing on Din, the Mandalorian from Mandalorian. We just had an extra episode of The Mandalorian. I'm like, wow, this was the most exciting. I had a character whose motivation I can follow, who has goals I can understand. And he's doing stuff. Stuff is happening.
You okay?
I don't know. It's like, I mean, to a certain point, I'm not sure if I'm happy or not. On the one hand, a certain part of me is relieved, for example, that I see the MCU slowly decreasing in being interesting to me. So I finally can get out of this abusive relationship. That's the problem when you're in an abusive relationship, but your abuser is really nice to you. And it gives you good treats. It gives you nice.
The Marvel Disney Plus shows are so good, though.
Yeah, the shows, but the little bit like even they lose a bit of steam, and the movies also lose steam. And then again, the shows actually make it worse, to be honest, because due to the shows, you cannot even just watch your 3 movies in cinema each year. No, now you also have to spend hours and hours watching shows. So I am not too mad if Star Wars doesn't manage to establish that.
But Moon Knight and She-Hulk is coming out. Come on, man.
Yeah, at the moment I don't care. I mean, they can win me over. They can win me over, but I haven't seen anything of it, and I don't really want, because spoilers. I will probably check it out because I'm not yet too jaded to not check out MCU stuff anymore.
How can but it's She-Hulk. Come on. I love She-Hulk.
Okay.
And what about X-Men 97? Come on, that's gonna be good.
I have never even heard those combination of words before.
How? God,
oh wait, X-Men 97? But still, yeah.
X-Men 97. Where they're gonna
it's a continuation of the 90s show, the animated series.
Ooh. Oh, but no, under
they're bringing back the surviving cast.
But yeah, I have to see how it is, but is it is it now officially part of the MCU, or just using
I had
rights?
Like no expectations with Book of Boba Fett. Like early on when they were like, we're gonna do a Boba Fett show. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
The whole appeal of Boba Fett is that we don't know anything about him.
Yeah, and I mean, I already talked about my media, and I want to keep Book of Boba Fett, so I will not go into and explain what it is about now. But I will probably in one
I
of the next awkward casts and be
Oh,
like, yeah,
I guess I'm just trash because I'm excited for so much of the Marvel stuff that's coming out, especially Ironheart because I love the Ironheart comics, which are
never heard of that one
basically
either.
things. 'Cause it's basically an engineer who makes uh the most advanced iron suit since Iron Man,
I was
and
about to
basically
say we already
becomes
have
the next
the
Iron.
we already
Yeah,
have this guy. He's called
they
Tony
become
Stark.
well, she takes up the mantle, and I really like that because, well, she's not just a Tony protege. She does it herself, and I want it, and I'm excited. But yeah, so that there we go.
But
So
yeah,
I guess
talking about stuff you are excited about.
yeah, I have to go to my backup media because I didn't really watch much, surprisingly.
Wait, maybe I can
Uh,
turn on a little bit of audio because the intro slaps so much. But
yeah.
yeah.
So one of my backup medias, which is totally recent, which is Extreme Ghostbusters from, I think like 98, 97? When did Extreme
I
Ghostbusters
don't know. I
come out?
remember watching it in my childhood,
It came
so it must be
out
old.
September
Keep
1st,
talking. I don't want to
1990.
get destroyed.
September 1st, 1997. Yeah.
Yeah.
This show is a birth show. Okay. But
Oh
yeah,
my.
so this
You were
is
born into ghostbusting.
And it has Daddy Egan in it.
yeah. Don't say Daddy Egon. Don't say
I mean, he's already an adult man
Okay, yeah, well, fine.
in
Anyways,
this show.
will you let me talk about this show?
Sure.
And not bully me. But no, Extreme Ghostbusters is an animated series, obviously, but it's a very rare occurrence where it's a continuation of a previous animated series because this is actually a direct continuation to the real Ghostbusters from the 80s, hence Blonde Egon. And essentially, it's like years after the end of the real Ghostbusters, everyone separate to do their own thing, as most Ghostbusters plots are, because the hauntings thinned out a bit, and Egon is a professor at a college for parapsychology, study of supernatural things, and in that class, there's these 4 kids: Eduardo, Kylie, Roland, and Garrett. No, the one in the wheelchair is not named Roland. I have had people ask me that, and I'm just saying that says more about you than it does about the show. But
Keep on
but yeah,
Roland.
stop. But no, that the basically ghosts come back, and these college kids take up the role as the new Ghostbusters, with Egon basically being the supervisor, Egon and Janine being the supervisor over them, because Egon is apparently too old for this shit, being 39. You can't tell me that Egon is 39 in this show. But like, which is younger than
I'm more offended that 39 is like, oh, it's too old for the.
no.
That's 9 years from now for me.
I know,
Even
but
less
that's the
for
thing
me.
That's the thing, though, is that I'm just kind of like, okay, how young was he in the cartoon? Because well, but that's the thing, because believe it or not, guys, Harold Ramis was 40 when he played Egon in the actual movie, so they younged them down, which I guess is believable for Venkman in that cartoon, but whatever. But like, point being, this show is so much fun. I'm really, it got 40 episodes. So like when people were like, oh, it only got 1 season. Yeah, but it did get a sizable amount of episodes for 1 season. I mean, compared to the previous cartoon, which has like 130 episodes.
Yeah, don't remind me.
And 65 of those were in 1 season. Thank you, syndication.
And the last few of them featured fucking Slimer.
Oh yeah, they are all the original Ghostbusters and Extreme Ghostbusters.
Yeah, they age pretty well, but like, but it's no. So it's just the show with a little bit more of an urban twist, I guess, in that it's it's 90s and the 90s were more urban culture. But
It's the
like
late 90s now.
it's
Yeah.
oh yeah, late 90s. But it's not as like radical kind of 90s. It's not as cheesy, which thank God it makes the show age so much better. The only thing that I don't think ages well about the show is the art direction, but that's because every show kind of looked like this because this is from the same studio who did like the Men in Black cartoon.
Hmm.
So very French. This was a French studio. Damn you, France.
I
But
love
it
that. Very French.
very French.
Extreme Ghostbusters walked so that Ladybug can run.
Don't say that this has the same quality as Ladybug. Do not
It
Yeah,
insult.
I don't want to insult Extreme Ghostbusters. That's true.
Yeah, but no, the show is really fun. It's very like
Would
it's a little bit more action heavy. It's funny. The characters are I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, this character is just this character's XP." I don't really see that. Like from rewatching the show recently, they do have their own defining traits. They take up the jobs that some of the characters had in the previous incarnation, but as characters themselves, they are their own thing. Like Roland isn't just Winston because he takes care of the Ecto One and is black. He honestly acts more like Ray, if anything. But like I personally really enjoy it. Sometimes they take on some social issues. They had an anti-Semitic awareness episode where like basically a golem was protecting a temple because a bunch of college kids from the college that they go to were vandalizing it and basically committing hate crimes. So yeah, this aired on Disney. Well, not Disney, but was a Disney show.
it was
In the
Fox
broad-
Kids that aired it.
Yeah. Point being, yeah, this show I think is really good. I feel like uh, if you want to get into Ghostbusters cartoons, Extreme Ghostbusters probably is easier for you than real Ghostbusters simply because I know some people who can't get past the fact that real Ghostbusters is an 80s cartoon, so there's certain things that are stuck in the times of the 80s, whether it's the art style or everything, even though I think the
We
real
call those
Ghostbusters
people incorrect.
yeah, because I think the real Ghostbusters ages really well. But if you're just so like I need to watch something more modern because I'm a dumb baby, Extreme Ghostbusters is for you. But also smart babies can watch Extreme Ghostbusters.
I love the
So,
sales pitch. Watch it if you're a dumb baby.
but
And
I mean,
unlike Miraculous Ladybug, there's no dabbing Santa in sight.
no.
Oh,
there's
you
no
just
dabbing
lost
Santa.
me. Dabbing Santa
But
was
no.
the best about it.
But no, this show is I think can be liked by anyone. If you're afraid that it's gonna have too much of that late '90s radicalness, no, not really. It also has one of
It's
the most
not rocket
likable.
power.
No, it's not rocket. It also has one of the most likable Tara Strong characters because she plays Kylie. It's yeah, and I genuinely enjoy her performance as Kylie. So it's perfectly fine to me. But also, fucking Carlton is in this show because he plays Roland. I didn't know that when I was younger,
Alfonso
and now I can
Ribeiro?
on here. Yeah, Alfonso Ribeiro's Roland, and fucking
Oh,
Max
yeah.
Goof is Garrett, the kid in the wheelchair. This show had a really good cast. So it's just interesting. It's an interesting show. Give it a
Yeah.
watch.
Give it a watch. But yeah, with that,
Oh, my God.
let's appreciate our art of the week. By, as always, at this point, but no, this is not mean to put him down, by Dog Holidays, who has
Yeah,
basically
Doc.
become Keyframe's official house artist, court painter, visual chronologer of online activity, since basically whatever you do online ends sooner or later up in his drawings. And yeah,
That's
in
very
this
true.
particular case, our Let's Play of It Takes Two, which I guess I linked down below.
Which has been very fun.
Yeah.
We solve
Oh, yeah.
puzzles so
It's a
good.
great game.
Yeah, we're in the space level right now, where he
Oh,
gets the
Moon Baboon.
Boo-ba-boo.
yes, he gets to be baby man, and I get to be upside down.
Yep. It's,
I mean,
yeah, Will and I played the whole game on the channel. We had a blast. It's a great game. It deserved Game of the Year. It really did.
Yeah, I noticed, and I also noticed. Let's see, does it open in the right place? So yeah, I noticed, and Chris, do tell me, does this thumbnail look familiar? I realized that I accidentally basically recreated your thumbnail just with our also by Chrissy drawn bubble heads.
I mean, nothing wrong with that. It works.
It does. And hey, maybe this way I can steal some of those DA Games clicks by
no,
making.
you won't be
No,
able to.
I won't. I don't believe I will.
What the
Germans
fuck?
aren't nearly as charming as the English.
What about
Probably.
me? I'm
You're not
there.
German.
Yeah, but I'm there. Can't I charm them?
Of course.
Also,
you can.
I didn't realize that fucking the guy who plays Eduardo in the show played Tuxedo Mask in the Deke dub of Sailor Moon. So I
Oh.
grew up hearing him in two ways.
My.
That's interesting. Well, I never had a thing for Tuxedo Mask. Look at Tuxedo Mask and say that that's my type. It is not.
I mean, he's long and
it's not.
thin and doesn't do stuff. So
Are you saying he doesn't do things?
I don't know. Maybe. Anyways, Twitter questions. Am I right?
Yeah, let's hear 'em.
Yeah.
What?
So, Plot Point Media asks, if someone threw a pie in your face, what kind would you prefer it to be?
A not hot one.
Okay, that's a fair qualifier. Yes.
Probably but let's go classic cartoon. Probably a banana cream pie, because I imagine
A classic, appreciate it.
it's not. It also doesn't have the liquidy filling like an apple pie, so it's not gonna It'll be easier to clean, and also I like the flavor of banana. So
Chris, what about you?
like banana. I would say chocolate pudding pie, something my mother has made for years, and it's cold. So I'm with Chrissy on as long as the pie is not hot.
I thought you said the pie was. I couldn't hear you that well, so I thought you said the pie was old. So I was like, "What's your argument that the pie is going to be so solid when it hits you, and none would really come off?"
The pie is cold. Cold.
All right, thank you.
You know, brr. Not.
But yeah.
Don't make fun of me just because I can't hear out of one ear. Yes, Max.
So, but I will actually, I believe I go with the apple pie due to the fact that in Germany, pie in this form is not as popular. And so I haven't gotten around to taste too many, but I really enjoyed a good apple pie. And once again, a cooled down one, because especially apple pie with all this juice in it, if there is hidden pockets of heat, this can literally boil off your face. So a room temperature apple pie, just because it's very tasty. I mean, yes, it will be a mess, but I get a fucking pie in my face.
That's how Palpatine's it's just a hot apple pie.
Remember when Jason Bateman fucked an apple pie?
Yeah, we all remember Jason Bateman fucking the apple pie.
That was Jason Bateman?
No.
Oh.
Wanted to see if you would notice that it wasn't Jason Bateman.
I don't know the name of
it.
No,
you did. So
It sounded weird, but I was like, Chris has more knowledge than me. I believe him. He can tell me that whoever played him.
Don't believe everything you hear, Max. That's how World War II happened.
Whoa!
Next question.
I'm looking for a question. I was just like, no, it can't be Jason Bateman. People would make
It's not Jason Bateman. It's Jason Biggs.
No, because if it was Jason Bateman, you know that a million people would have drawn Nick Wilde fucking a pie.
That's Jason Bateman.
But instead, they draw Leonardo from TMNT 2012 fucking a pie.
Oh, pizza pie.
Wait, is he voice acted by?
Yeah, Jason Biggs. Jason Biggs, who was in American Pie, voiced Leonardo only in the 2012 TMNT for like 2 seasons, and then Seth Green took over.
Well, that didn't last long. But yeah.
Anyways, okay, so next question from Alpha Kenny Body. So last stream, Chrissy told me to ask an Encanto question every week. So here it is. I hope you're happy. Ask Awkward. Which one of the members of the family Madrigal should get their own spin-off, and what should the basic plot be? Also, wow, I can't spell. Yeah, because the way that they spelt it was the Gamley Madrigal and Quishpin Evie week. But yeah, wow, see me after class.
So yes, Encanto spin-off, and what would the premise be?
Which character would you want from the family to have a spin-off, and what would
Bruno,
the plot?
And I would like it to be his time in the walls, from his banishment to when Mirabelle finds him. Like, I wanna see the creative ways he walks around. Maybe he helped out situations without them knowing, that kind of thing.
Oh, that would actually be a very cute short.
I know,
series.
and also I think most of us all like the character of Bruno. He's John Leguizamo. He's inherently charming.
I would also like it if Dolores was a supporting character, because we all know that Dolores knew that he was in the walls the entire time. So if there was a thing of just Dolores putting an arepa like close to a hole in the wall and being like, and then you just see Bruno's
like she knew something.
Bruno's scrunkly little hand coming out and just.
How did Bruno clip his nails?
He probably got the rats to do it.
There's a lot of unanswered questions. Like,
or he could bite.
Was that bucket he had on his head his poop bucket?
Ooh.
No.
Well,
lots of unanswered questions.
Well, Chrissy, your answer.
Okay, well, to move on from that, here's the thing, because I would like a spin-off that would be basically each episode focuses on each Madrigal family member in their room, because like the rooms are a very fascinating concept. If we've seen Antonio's and Bruno's and Isabella's, I want to see like Luisa's and Peppa's and all that stuff, like, because if they're larger than life things, I would just love to see what do they do just by themselves, and like, and maybe you can have each one has a musical number attached to it that's a different genre of music that fits their individual personalities, because that would be mine. But if I had to pick one specific family member, I would love a series with Dolores, simply because she can hear everything. I want to see her just being that silent person solving people's problems because she just knows everything.
She can hear elephants taking a shit from miles away.
What is with you and shit today? Like,
Poop is funny.
After class.
We should have not.
I'm not seeing you after class because I don't want what you have.
We should not have let him reminiscent so much about turning back into a child doing the Universal trip, because now he remains on that level for the rest of the show.
But I am just saying, look, Chrissy can't be herself right now, so I will be Chrissy for her. I'm just saying, she can hear defecation from miles. Everybody's defecation.
And she could hear everybody.
That's a
be
miserable
conceived.
existence.
Yeah,
That's
and
She could hear people fucking from miles away, babies being conceived from miles away. She could hear gunfire and misery. It is terrible to be Dolores.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why if the whole room spinoff happened, we could get confirmation that her room is fucking soundproof. Because that's the only way I would be able to survive in my life.
It's just like a white void.
But then again, she heard the eye twitch all night long from.
Could have been no, all night long could have been that the party went for all night long. Has no one ever thought about that? That all night included the party.
Well,
anyways, go. What about you, Max? I know that you're great with these creatives.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I refuse to answer this one because the entire thing about the family is that they don't work as standalones. So yeah, I cannot pick one that makes a lot of sense to follow around. Unless we go maybe for the shapeshifter and reveal that he actually has lost his identity and is deeply traumatized, and it is a existential 18+ show. Oh, come on! I am getting so annoyed by that.
Well, yes, he is. He's Mirabel's age, so he's like 15. But the other thing is that was actually a plot that they were going to implement.
Yeah.
When the magic went awry and everyone's powers were going away, he was going to transform back into his original self, which no one recognized.
I know, that's where I got the idea. I'm not pretending that it's an original one.
No. Chris was like, isn't he like 12? And I was like, dude, that doesn't stop shit.
But he's like 18+ shows. Like, this is like a
not in that sense. More in the
rock and roll, just like depression.
Yeah, like darkness, imagery, psychological horror, that kind of shit. Maybe it even turns out that his true form is some kind of Cronenberg creation.
Okay.
It's like the Fly.
No, he's not specifically a fly, but some amorphous blob.
I mean, like...
Friggin' Charlie in the chat, like, have you ever seen a Colombian party? It ends at 4 a.m.
Yeah, all night. But, yeah, that was that question. Now back to Twitter.
Brandon Kruger asks, favorite DVD Easter egg or bonus content you didn't expect? Chris, you only got like 2 minutes to answer, so make it... You must not talk
the Return of the King DVD, where Dominic interviews Elijah Wood in a German accent and asks him ridiculous questions.
Fair.
In the Vanity Fair, your hair it goes from long to short to long. Do you wear wigs? No. Will you wear wigs? Maybe. When will you wear wigs?
Well, we are losing Key.
Absolutely hysterical little Easter egg that was on the Return of the King DVD. You can find it on YouTube. Hilarious stuff, especially since Dominic, who Lord of the Rings, if you don't know, he's Merry.
Okay.
And yeah, he's Merry, and he's actually German. So he puts back on his normal accent to play the German interviewer talking to Elijah Wood, and he has this whole, like, because it was through satellite, so they couldn't see him. He didn't know it was Dominic, and he didn't reveal it until like 10 minutes into the interview. He's like, by the way, it's Dom, Elijah. And he just fucking busts up even more. Because, like, partway through, he starts to suspect maybe this has to be a joke because he's asking ridiculous questions. Like, you were in movie Flipper, Dolphin. The dolphin is dead. Very sad. Died in a car wreck.
Wait, what?
Look it up, Max. Look it up.
I guess I have to look it up and put the link down below. What is this?
You do. Just look up Elijah Wood interview prank. It's like the first result on YouTube. It's hysterical. I think it's actually like a direct rip from the DVD because it still has the Elijah Wood prelude to explain what it is. And he's like, "Hey, you found the Easter egg." Blah, blah, blah. You know, like they used to do back in the day. When you found an Easter egg, they'd be like, "Hey, look at you! Aren't you smart? You found it." Like the Monsters Inc. Easter eggs on the old DVD where they had a
Oh my,
monkey with bunny ears.
oh my God, the hairstyle that Dom had in this.
Yeah, yeah, isn't it great?
Like,
Look at it. He went full character with it, and he plays it so straight, asking these absolutely ridiculous questions.
But yeah,
yeah.
so what about you, Key?
What was the question? Can you repeat it?
Yes, absolutely. Favorite DVD, Easter egg, or bonus content you didn't expect?
Oh God, I'm trying to think, cause
Should I buy you some time?
yeah, buy me some
Yeah.
time.
I mean, there would be my obvious answer, but I believe I talked about it far too often already. The one on Eurotrip, where the producers, the 3 producers of Eurotrip, get together to watch and comment on their own movie, which so far so normal. But basically, during the opening credits, they are like, "Yo, guys, we are going to do a drinking game," and they introduce their own drinking game to their own movie, and also play it while recording this commenting audio track. Ordering a pizza, and you even hear the pizza arrive with doorbell and everything during the audio commentary. They just let it rolling. It was pretty amazing, and I didn't expect it, and I loved it. And I guess now I talked so long about it that it's still my.
I love that.
I guess this was my
commentary,
answer.
because that brings the drinking game that I do almost annually with Max.
I think I know what yours would be, Chrissy. Because we both laugh and love about it. The commentary for the Sum of All Fears with Tom Clancy and the director.
Okay, this looks like a yes. Please elaborate.
Okay, no, that's one that is one of them, but it's not my favorite.
Okay.
You made me think of my favorite one, which is
Okay,
Lemony
good.
Snicket commentary.
That's right. You love that commentary.
Which one?
Okay, so it's for the Jim Carrey series of Unfortunate Events movie, and everyone knows that Lemony Snicket, the original author for the book, hates that movie with a passion. So him and the director of the movie did an audio commentary for the movie. And the entire commentary is just Lemony Snicket shitting on the director on the movie, being like, "Why did you do this? It's so dreadful." And the director being like, "Oh, I think this is fine." No, it's bad. And there's one part where Lemony Snicket takes out an accordion and starts just singing woes about the movie because he hates parts of the movie.
Yep.
It's a fantastic
great
commentary. The entire audio commentary is on YouTube. So
I guess I have to find this and link it as well.
Yes, if you find like the movie somewhere, just play the audio commentary in time with the movie.
Yeah, like sync it up.
It's funnier than the actual movie. Like, it's so good. But yeah, the Tom Clancy one is
oh my god, because the Tom Clancy one, because for those who don't know Tom Clancy, bless his soul, Tom Clancy was a writer. Like, he wrote books. Some of you might know him for like Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell and Rainbow Six, all those games. But he was an author. He wrote, The Hunt for Red October and all those like, political thrillers. The thing about Tom Clancy is he was a very well educated individual. Like, he thoroughly researched these things before he wrote them. So they do a movie adaptation of one of his books, The Sum of All Fears, and the whole, much like the Lemony Snicket, the commentary is Tom Clancy and the director of The Sum of All Fears, and Tom Clancy keeps shitting on the movie for all the shit that it gets wrong and all the made up shit where it's like, that's bullshit. But the best part, the single greatest part, is this line of dialogue in the film where a guy comes in and he goes, the Germans have just lifted off their stealth bombs or something like that. And of course he's like, how the hell do they know that the stealth bombs have been let off? And the director's like, oh, don't they have radio, satellite, they track that?
What does the word stealth stand for?
Well, as he says bluntly with a pregnant pause, he goes, the whole point of stealth, Phil, is you can't see them on the radar at all.
Sounds about right, doesn't it?
Yeah, because and then the director, not letting go, keeps like prodding him like, well, don't they? It's like if they happen to have a KGB guy on they only do that like twice. Like he knows his shit, and he keeps correcting him. I was like, but what about like, look, if this very certain set of circumstances happen, maybe.
God, we can
Right.
go on and on
Don't-
about
Yes.
great commentaries.
We could.
Because
There's so many great commentaries out there.
But we gotta move. We gotta move because
do.
I'm dying.
We do.
So anything. So now it's Discord. Egon Supplier asks, "Thank you, Wolfen. This one is for the aficionado. I can't help but notice you have acquired interspecies reviewers on Blu-ray. In light of these events, I have a very specific task for you. Use the
Yeah,
next
that be.
30 seconds to try and describe that man in the most PG way possible. May the perverse weed gods give you the strength and good luck." Max, do you have your phone near you? We gotta set a timer.
Okay, sir. Okay. So he has a moment to consider how to go approach it.
You gotta pitch this to us in 30 seconds in the most PG way possible.
Oh, okay.
So, you're,
Wait.
let me know when you're ready.
Sure. Go. All right. So, in a fantasy world, a swordsman, an elf, and an angel decide one day that it would be best to go to a brothel, and much like you would write reviews as a food critic, write reviews for your experiences at the brothel. Because in this fantasy world, there are many different kinds of species, and therefore many different kinds of brothels that can be a different experience each time. And the show is that it? Done?
Mm.
Yep, that's all you got.
Okay, I think that's good.
So basically, it's them doing reviews of different species. Okay, that sounds like a great educational show.
Now the X-rated version is they're fucking them.
Yeah. Or is Giga? Wait, I can't. I don't remember how the Giga quote was, but he's like, we moved on from anime, where we were like, how is this not hentai? To anime that is hentai.
Oh no, this isn't hentai. That's
according to Giga, it is. But
it's not hentai. This is an eki. The reason it's not a hentai is because
they have little
penetration
bubble.
is never. There's no penetration. That's the difference. I can tell you. Trust me, I'm an expert. In an eki, you can go pretty far with the sex, but you can't show the penetration. In a hentai, you can. In an eki, you cannot. And interspecies reviewers, because I've seen quite a lot of televised eki, this is the furthest you can go without being a full-blown hentai.
Yeah,
this pushed every boundary. The only reason it's not a hentai is because you don't see that.
I'm just kind of like, how does lesbian sex work then? Because there's no penetration there. It's just things touching.
You found a loophole. Let's show this in full HD. Anyways, I guess we are not allowed to answer that question. So back to Twitter. My last one over here, J-Rock's obligatory Would You Rather. And this one is an actual difficult one. Or at least for me, I'm not sure. Would you rather always be 20 minutes late for important events, or always be 2 hours early for everything else?
2 hours early, duh.
2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours early.
I mean, I'm leaning towards that.
I would rather be early than late because there's you get reprimanded if you're late. If you're
but
early, you're considered nope. We're answering the question here, man.
We were all actually answering the question.
Well, yes, but I am trying to justify my answer, which is 2 hours early. We have these magical squares. We can do things for 2 hours while we wait.
Yeah, but here's a counterpoint. Let's assume, because it's for everything else, let's assume you have 3 events in a day, all not important ones. So there are 6 hours of your day where you are just like waiting for a buddy for coffee, arriving at work 2 hours early, What else can you do during the day? Jesus, the last 2 years of Corona have completely eroded my brain.
Go shopping 2
Go-
hours before the show.
This is not
There
really
are
an
literally
event.
so many things you can do in 2 hours. 2 hours is not
Yeah, but
like
the moment-
it sounds long, but it's not that long.
But point being is there are you have only 3 events throughout a day. It's not a lot. So you have 6 hours of your day already like lost for those 3 events on top of the events itself.
As someone who grew up in a family who was always late to things, I would rather be early to things.
I mean, I'm leaning towards early myself, but the amount is so much more.
I mean,
Friggin' Charlie's got good answers. You can go to the bathroom. You can read a whole book. There are things you can do in 2 hours that you don't have to do.
2 hours you lose of your day, and this piles up.
If you're doing things, then you're not wasting your day.
Yeah. Also, have you ever heard of multitasking? If you're
No.
2 hours early to something, why don't you just bring your laptop? Most places in this world have
Right.
Wi-Fi, or you can get a hotspot on your phone. I could write written reviews for the comics for my Patreon. Go to my Patreon in the 2 hours that I'm waiting for someone to come for coffee. To me, it's just like, what would I do at an airport for 2 hours?
But be 20 minutes late, and the plane is gone.
Exactly. 20 minutes late to so many things. Can you imagine if I was 20 minutes late to my dad's ash spreading? Everyone would be on the boat but me.
You know what? That's the thing. It is set in reality because you mentioned the plane. Because I've been 2 hours early for a plane.
I mean, that's kind of the time you are supposed to arrive at the airport anyways.
Exactly. So that's the thing. I'd rather be 2 hours early for the airport than 20 minutes late for boarding.
I've been in an airport 5 hours before my plane took off.
Jesus.
Yeah. When you really want to leave. But look, point being, if I can find shit for me to do for 5 hours, I can find shit to do for 2. So yeah. I would not 20 minutes late to important events. I go to way too many important. My life is so important that I would be late to my own life.
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I would go for the early one too as well, but it's 2 hours still sounds very, very painful to me. But yeah, that was it from my end from Twitter.
We don't have a lot of Discord questions.
Which is so weird because there has been so much back and forth in the AWKWARDCast.
There's no fuck, marry, kill?
Oh, no, there is.
Fuck, marry, kill. I don't count fuck, marry, kill as Discord questions because that's a thing.
But yeah, so much back and forth, but so little questions.
Okay, let's see. Well, that's because we have a good guest. Let's see. What's a good question? Okay, here's one from Jory. When you guys were on the topic of theme parks, do you guys have a thing where you go on your favorite ride first or last? I guess this is a very simple question. If I know that the ride's going to have a really long queue, yes. I tend to... But that's the thing. I don't even know if I would say that they're my favorite rides. I just know that the ride is going to get really long lines.
Yeah.
So it's just me being pragmatic. But I don't really... I go on my favorite ride when there's my favorite ride, you know?
I mean, because that's the thing is only recently would I be able to say that I have favorite rides because I have now experienced these parks and their rides. But yeah, like, depending on them, I would definitely maybe prioritize them, especially if they had fast passes. You know, just take care of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably also go for going on them early, which then allows you, if you make them early so you don't miss out on them, then you get around the park, and if you still have time at the end, you can do them again.
We had that with that one big coaster at Fantasia Land where we were waiting in line for
Taro, or Tora, or Tarok, or whatever the name is. Ah, I love it.
It's such a good ride. We gotta go again, man. It's so much fun. But no, like, yeah. So there you go. There's that answer. That was an easy question. Fucking softballs. Not asking the hard questions. Good. Let's see. Here's one for. I think we could do one more normal question, and then fuck, Mary, kill. From Deaf Alchemist. Last time I asked a question, it wasn't answered. LMAO. Anyways, ask AWKWARDCast. Christ, I think they meant Chris. What is the weirdest Blu-ray, DVD, etc. in your collection, and for the host, the weirdest thing in whatever you collect? So,
The weirdest in my collection.
Whatever you collect.
I mean,
Because see,
everyone
what do they
can-
mean by weird? Like that it's an how would you define weird for this?
I guess I would just say like a quirky item, an item with a story behind it. You know,
The one we are most ashamed of telling people that you do own. Ah! And he just proudly held interspecies reviewer into the camera. So his bar is
I'm not ashamed of that.
Exactly. So what are you ashamed of? Which DVD in your collection?
There are some Japanese titles that if I ever took a photo of the collection, I'd probably blur them out. Definitely. I have some hentai.
it's
And
art.
yes, it is. But more importantly, they cater to my very specific interests, which is why I have them. But as far as like, I mean, I guess you could call that weird, but I don't know. I think it's normal to have. I don't think it's weird to have pornography. I just don't.
Okay. Well, what about weird? As in, there's a story behind it.
Oh God, because now I'm trying to think. Okay, probably one of the strangest stories I have is for a South Korean film. I think you remember this story. Because it became like a game of telephone to get a copy. Because it's a movie called Cold Eyes. It's a very good movie. But I wanted to get a copy of it. And I kept putting it off. And then one day, the only eBay seller that had copies of it ran out. So I was like, all right, no big deal. I'll just go somewhere else. Well, it's not that simple. All the other shops didn't have it. I found like one K-pop site that listed it, and I ordered it. And then like 2 weeks later, they wrote back saying, we didn't have this item in stock, so we've refunded your money. And I'm like, God damn it. So I kept looking, and finally I found this weird, like, because I'm like, Korea has to have like an Amazon or something. Like they have to have a third-party marketplace, right? And they did. It was a site called Aladdin. And they had them, and the big kick in the ass was they don't ship to the United States. So I had to go to a place called Korean Buddy, which was a proxy shipping service where basically you order the item, it goes to him, he takes a photo to make sure it's the right item, and then he sends it to you. And all these extra steps had to go through to get it, and I've had to do that for a couple items that I've really wanted because you can't, especially right now, international shipping is kind of a bitch. So you have to order them from a site that doesn't ship to the U.S., ship it to someone who will ship it to the U.S., and then ship it to the U.S. And I've done that more times than I would like to. Otherwise, everything else is relatively normal. Again, maybe apart from the hentai.
It's such a big asterisk. But yeah, see, here's the thing. I think everyone has like little collections, but they're not a collector. So that's the thing of I'm thinking of like what is just something I own that's weird.
Pins.
But I think
You're a pin collector.
Okay. Yeah, but the pins aren't weird unless you count having 1, 2, 3, 4.
What about that?
5.
What about that furry liquor you have?
Oh, yeah, that's a weird thing.
Yeah, that's weird. Admit that that's weird.
Then I'll say that I have 2 weird things because I also had another weird thing. So yeah, I have to hold this way because the artwork on it's naughty. At Eurofurence, there's this table that sells liquor, like can bottled liquor, and it's the art is, well, this one you don't see any naughty bits, but you know what's going on, and it's really good, and they sell out like the second day of Eurofurence. So I remember the last Eurofurence I was at, 2019, before the world shut down. I was like, we got to go to the dealers and I got to get the furry liquor, and I bought like I think like 3 bottles, and the thing was, it was the second day. Half the table was already gone. Like, that stuff sells out fast, which makes me laugh of thinking how many people buy things that have, like, people
Pornography.
jacking off. Yeah, people jacking off into bowls and shit. Because I think one of the liquors is called rat milk. I'll let you
Ooh,
do
yeah.
the math from there. And the thing is, I don't know the flavors of these things. All I know is that the sample tasted good, I'm buying it. I'm pretty sure everything I buy is some form of pineapple or apricot or something, because they're all orange. But
I believe mine has a snow leopard licking herself.
yeah, mine has a dog tied up and is naked, so I'm trying not to point at. Yeah, I have a bondage dog. I have one that's a wolf that's like covering himself with a bottle, and then 3 dogs 69ing, which I don't know how that works. Furries. But no, that is one weird thing. But let me talk to you about my collection of items from the world, because I'm a world traveler, which means I just have things from everywhere that I go to. So I have one item. It's very interesting. So I have this calendar, right? It's a German calendar,
Oh,
but
boy.
it's from. It's a Chinese calendar. Like, it has the Chinese zodiacs on them, but it's in German. I didn't buy this,
No.
so it's from a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
And the thing was, I was staying with Max as I do, and I think, like, that day I was talking about, like, yeah, I don't really get a lot of gifts. I feel weird when people give me things, but it is a nice form of affection, just to know that I'm cared about. And then I'm packing my bag, because this is like a day or two before I have to leave, and I see a little gold and red box in my bag, and I was like, Rex, did you get me something? And he's like, oh, I thought you were going to find it when you got back home. And I was like, you actually got me a gift? And I could see his face being like, about that. And I open, it's this Chinese food calendar. He's like, yeah, I thought it was trash, so I just put it in your bag as a prank. And I was like, oh, that's really cool, after the whole conversation we had about gifts. And I could just see Max's face being like, I didn't think about this. I'm so sorry. And meanwhile, I'm like laughing because it's so fucking fun. The greatest gift was seeing him like, oh no. You could see on his face, he still feels that embarrassment.
Yeah, timing.
He'll never live it down.
Yeah. You keep this Chinese trash that they throw at you in Chinese restaurants to this day, just to be able to retell this story.
It's a great story. But yeah, what about you, Max?
I have been desperately looking up and down, like my curiosities here. I don't really collect anything. I mean, That Stupid Collections is actually one of That Stupid videos that I had a confidence about being able to say something, but then whatever happened to this series happened. And I don't know. I mean, something that is... what was the wording again?
Like a weird thing you have
in your collection, or for the host, weirdest thing, whatever you collect. I don't collect anything. So what is the weird thing I own? I don't even know. I mean,
you have weird pets.
It's true. I have weird pets.
You collect animals, and you collected 2 of the most dysfunctional ferrets I think I've ever seen.
I mean, when Rocket is not throwing up and having trouble to poop, he functions relatively fine. But I guess I answered my own question there.
We'd say the same thing about you, and then we'd have to admit you into a hospital.
True.
You know what, Max? Here's the thing. This is a way to veer off of the question. You say that, and you say that about Himbo. You know who says the same like defenses about their pets, Jenna to her dogs, and you constantly scrutinize Jenna with that. You are the same thing, and Rocket and Himbo are your Kermit and Marbles. Especially Himbo is definitely Marbles because he
We
doesn't know where he is.
established earlier that Himbo is probably just the Himbo alter ego of a supervillain.
No, Himbo is Marbles, and with the amount of just dysfunction that Rocket causes, Rocket is Kermit. You have a Kermit.
No. FMK, am I right? Oh, come on. This is getting ridiculous at this point.
You got to admit, Max, the timing on that one was really good.
I mean, it was probably better from your perspective because there it looked like I was bailing out on being confronted with it.
Oh, God, it was so fucking funny. That was good timing. Anyway, in this week's FMK, we got Magical Dude doing it.
Okay.
Sorry, give me a second. I had head rush. Actually, Max, can you read it? I don't know
Yeah, should I go for the enhanced version, the FMKF, or
No, go for the normie one.
But this means that one of them gets left out.
Yeah, but it's Venkman who gets left out. Is that really a bad thing?
Oof. Well, I guess we go with the OG question then. This one is mostly for Key, as she was sick yesterday, still is, and this would cheer her up. And partly inspired by her Ghostbusters stream earlier this week. Fuck, marry, kill. OG Ghostbusters. Egan Spangler, Dr. Ray Stans, and Winston
Zedmore.
Zedmore.
There's an extra E in the middle.
I vote we don't include Winston and swap it out with Venkman.
Why? What's wrong with Winston?
Because if one of us mathematically has to kill Winston, I don't like that being on the table.
It's not a hate crime, but okay, fine.
It's murder!
Okay, fine. We'll switch him out with Venkman. You're the guest.
And once again, Winston is the Ghostbuster left out.
Okay,
I'm not
here's
sure
the
if
thing.
this makes it better!
I think Winston is happier knowing we don't want to fuck him or kill him.
But Winston is fine. But Winston gets all of our friend answers. We all want to be friends with Winston.
Or,
of course we want to be
or
friends
we
with
go
Winston.
for the FMKF, where we don't mathematically have to kill him.
But we'll just agree that we will friend Winston. It should be the original three anyway.
Yeah, fine. We'll do. It's Egon, Ray, and Venkman because, well, they are the original three. There we go.
And
Either
Chris,
way, you guys have to pick gay answers. But yeah, Chris, the three Ghostbusters. Which one you diddling? Which one you diddle don't? And which one are you marrying?
I thought Diddle Don't is marrying.
No, diddle don't would be.
I'm gonna be the straight man, and
This will be tricky.
I think of these as gender bends because a gender bend of Ray would be perfect marriage material. He's just so goddamn fun.
Oh, so basically the
Can't not-
2016 Ghostbusters. Got you.
No, be quiet. Be quiet, Max. You'll get your turn soon. But yes, I would marry Ray.
Why?
I just said why! You weren't listening.
Apparently not.
God, you
So
two
you
are
marry
like
Ray?
siblings.
I will accept
Yes, I
that.
marry Ray. I explained because
Okay.
Ray is fun, joyful, and charming. He's marriage material.
That is true.
Like I would want those same qualities in a woman. Like he's just so he loves things. You know, he's like a child. Everything is
Does this
awesome.
poll still work?
Exactly, stuff like that. Like, are we staying here? Like he's just a child and he's lovely. You know, you want that kind of joy in your life. I think I would fuck Egon.
Mm-hmm.
Because Egon, if we've learned anything from the slime, he's probably a very good lover. And I would kill Venkman because as much as I love him, I think at some point I'm going to snap.
Yeah.
So, then
here's the thing.
who gets to go next?
Who went last week? Chat, who went last week?
I honestly
Might
think we
have
should give it
been
to
me.
Chrissy so that she can give her obvious answer.
But
No,
Get it out of
that's
the way.
that's the thing. I know how to. I already figured out which way I have to rotate. Uh-oh.
Last time Max went last. Oh, no.
Oh yeah. So
Max.
I don't care about how anything else aligns, but I am going to marry Egan.
Why? Why are you Please tell Egon, why are you marrying him?
I mean, from those guys, he seems to be the most grounded and reliable one. Yeah, stable one. I mean, you pointed out how
What's
Ray
it like
is a...
being a complete fucking asshole to revoke this from Chrissy?
That's me.
Now she only has the choice to kill him.
Yeah.
She has to kill her one true love.
That is very much my true
Also-
motivation to marry him.
Also, just saying, you're gonna say that he's the most stable one when there was a line that he almost drilled a hole through his head?
No, but I mean, like,
And it wouldn't work if you
no,
hadn't
but
stopped
the
me.
most reliable one. But Ray, the thing is that he is very, very light-minded. Like, I don't want to be the adult in that relationship. Thank you very much. Then Venkman, actually looking at the old movies, that didn't age too well. I mean, if he wouldn't have been played by Bill Murray, he would be very uncomfortable to watch. The only thing that saves this character in the live-action adaptation is that it's Bill Murray. Otherwise, he is a creep. Jesus fucking Christ. Talking about I'm going to fuck Venkman because, well, he is a creep. Jesus fucking Christ. And that leaves me with killing Ray because
Why are
look
you
at him.
killing Dan Aykroyd?
I mean, it's a very, very obvious thing technically. I mean, look at him. He is constantly getting into trouble. He is in over his head with this entire ghostbusting, and I mean, worst case scenario, I protect him from worse. Best case scenario, he can come back as a ghost and can't hurt himself anymore, but be still a part of the show.
Oh my god, you're like the fucking Q5 team who fucked over the cartoon and wanted to get rid of Ray. Jesus.
Oh boy. But yeah,
they dead ass. They wanted to get rid of Ray because they were like he didn't provide anything, but that's because they made everyone not allowed to hate Slimer because he was the only one who liked Slimer. Fuck that Q5 team. Anyways, okay, so how does this work?
You have all the best answers. Oh Jesus, all of them are horrible.
Wait, I have to kill Egon. I'm so sorry.
Every single one of those answers is bad. I was not aware that there's an objectively worst answer to this.
Okay, so I'm gonna kill Egon because, like...
Yes.
Look, let's be real here. The guy would experiment on himself, fucked unknown slime, and almost drilled a hole in his head. The guy's gonna kill himself. Like, honestly, he probably would want it. He would want it to see if he could be in the ghost realm. He would do some kind of it would be some kind of science experiment to him.
So you're not killing him in the sense of murdering. You are helping him with an experiment that has an expected fatal outcome.
Yes.
Aha.
That's the way I could spin it because it gets worse from here somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna fuck Ray. God, I'm fucking a Boy Scout. Jesus. Okay, here's the thing. He's very jubilant, and if you watch the original Ghostbusters, young Dan Aykroyd was a pretty handsome man. Not as handsome as him, but he was pretty okay. He was pretty handsome looking. Very conventionally attractive. And, you know, he just seems like he would be very receptive to what you want. He would be like, oh, you want this? Okay, let's do it. Yeah. You know, that kind of thing. So I at least know that he's not going to judge me because he probably just wants to experience stuff. So there you go. I really don't want to have to elaborate this answer.
Oh, the next one or the one you just did?
No, the next one, because
Oh,
then
the
I have
next
to
one.
marry Peter.
Yes.
It's okay.
I'm marrying Garfield. Okay, so okay, so you know what? If I marry Venkman, he obviously knew his ways to success, like after, like in Ghostbusters 2. I mean, he had his own show and everything, so he knows his way to market himself and stuff. So I can imagine that even if there's a thinning out of hauntings and the ghosts are busted, that I will live very well off. But also during the time of the Ghostbusters doing their bustings, I can hang around the firehouse and I can have an affair with Egon all I want.
Until you kill him for one of his experiments. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
doesn't-
can't believe that your gold-digging answer rescued you from a far worse explanation. When has gold-digging become the noble approach to anything?
And hey, think about this. In all of these answers we have, at some point we're all hanging out in the firehouse and we can hang out with Winston. Everyone
Yeah.
wins. And Janine. So that's a double win. God, you would have made everything way too easy for everyone if you put Janine as one of those FMK answers. Because people would have just been fighting to either marry or fuck Janine.
Unless you would have picked her for one of those answers, and then it would have gotten very awkward.
A and Y and Key say hi to the people in the chat. The memes are seen on this live stream as they talk about random grabs. Time for awkward guests. It's the awkward. Random guests and funny gags on the awkward guests. Artwork and analysis which you do not